Today we're going to talk about expressions and number problems. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking word problems and converting them into number sentences that we can then solve. So, expressions and number problems. There are certain verbal expressions that when translated as an expression, a switch must take place. This means that you're going to have to flip things around. So, these things that you need to look for are more than, less than, to, and from. Okay. Basically what that means is that you're going to have to take the part that's in the front, the part that's in the back, and you're going to have to switch them up. So we're going to go ahead and look at some examples. Our first example, we want to turn everything into an algebraic expression. So here we have 12 more than a number. And I'm going to go ahead and use n for number. Now because more than is one of our switched terms, we're going to go ahead and flip these. N and 12. Now we need to figure out what more than means. I'm either going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. Well, more than should be fairly obvious for most of you. It means that we're going to add. Now I do want to point out that n plus 12 is the same thing as 12 plus n. It actually doesn't matter. But I want you to get used to the idea that if you see the word than, that you're going to flip the two. All right, it's going to become important as we talk about number 2. Number 2, we have 8 less than a number. Well, less than means that we're going to switch them. So that means n minus 8. N minus 8. Now, this is important. N minus 8 is different than 8 minus n. These are not the same thing. Okay? So it is very important that you flip this. Okay? I always like to think of it using actual terms. Okay? If I have 10 apples, you have 8 less than my 10 apples, you're going to do 10 minus 8, not 8 minus 10. Now, I'm going to go ahead and move on to number 3. Just slide this paper up a bit. Okay. Now, here we have 6 decreased by twice a number. We know that twice is 2. Now decreased is very simple. That means that we're going to subtract. So 6 minus, now twice means that we're going to multiply. Okay? So we're going to specifically multiply by 2. So twice a number, and there we go. Moving on to number 4. We have 7 less than 3 times a number. Now, less than, if you'll notice, was one of our switched phrases. So that means that this needs to go in front of the 7. 3n, almost put plus, less than meaning minus, 7. So, remember, we have to switch. It still means minus, but we have to switch them. Now, the reason I didn't just move the 3 is because multiplication is very important. That has to happen before subtraction. So that means this whole piece is a piece that had to move. Right, last problem that's on this particular page. We're talking about the difference, that's a word for subtract, between a number and 11. Now the difference between these means that I'm going to subtract n minus 11. Notice this is not any of my switched phrases. So I need to keep these in the same order. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at the second page. Okay. So those were the phrases that were switched. Very important. Next we're going to talk about parentheses. Okay. Sometimes in a word problem they give you parentheses. The words that we're looking for is we're looking for the words sum of or difference of. Sum of course, means that we're going to add, and difference of means that we're going to subtract. Let's go ahead and look at problem number 6. 9 times the sum of, that means I'm going to have some parentheses, a number, and 3. So number and 3. Now, because of the parentheses, I don't need this multiplication sign. I can just go ahead and slide this right next to it. Now, we have n plus 3. That's the sum of a number and 3. We have 9 times 9 implied multiplication. And the sum of was the parentheses that we're working with. All right. That was using sum of. Now we're going to give an example using difference of. Now, 3 times the difference of, that means we're going to subtract a number and 7. Now difference is still not one of our switch terms, so we are not going to switch. We're just going to put the numbers in the same order that they appear. I'm going to go ahead and write this more nicely. Again, when you have a number next to parentheses, the multiplication is implied. Go ahead and box my answers. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move on. We're going to translate and also solve. So first we're going to write it out, and then we're going to solve. So it says that a number is decreased by 10. Now, the result is another way of saying that this is equals negative 21. Go and put it all together. N minus 10 equals negative 21. Number 9 says if negative 32 is subtracted from, there's that key word of from. We don't want to lose it. It was one of our switch words. So, a number which is n, but because of the word from, this number is going to go before the negative 32, and subtracted means minus. Again, we've got that phrase, the result is, means equals negative 52. We want to put it all together. N minus negative 32 is negative 52. Now remember back in the last unit, we talked about minus and negative is really plus a positive. So n plus 32 equals negative 52. I want to get n by itself, so I'm going to subtract 32 from both sides, and I get that n equals 2 and 2 is 4, 5 and 3 is 8. And I know that this is negative. Again, I could just put that in the calculator. 52 minus, negative 52 minus 32. I did because they're both negative. I added and made sure the answer was negative. This is the last problem that we're going to be working on in this lesson. Go ahead and rewatch this video as often as you like to make sure that you understand it. You'll have your Chromebooks with you in class that you can watch this again in class if you need to. I will also be going around to help you on the assignment. Now, here we have 5 less than. That means that we're going to put the minus in front, and whatever comes next goes in front of that minus sign because it was one of our switched terms. 1/2 of a number. Well, that means 1/2 times my number, but that needs to go in front, is 18. Here they didn't use the whole phrase, the result is. They just used is. That's all you need. Is means equals. So I rewrite this. My 1/2 n goes in front. Minus 5 equals 18. Well, I need to add 5 to both sides first. I'm going to get that 1/2 n equals 18 plus 5 makes 23. Then I have this 1/2 n. Remember, there are several ways that we talked about how to solve this. I'm going to multiply by the denominator of 2. Cancel that over here. And we get that n equals 46. Now, all these problems can be checked the way we talked about checking before. I actually didn't solve this one. Let me go back and solve this first one. I'm going to add 10 to both sides. Get that n equals negative 11. Okay. I want to go ahead and try this. Negative 11 minus 10 equals negative 21. Negative 84 minus a negative 32. We put that in the calculator, we get negative 52. And then down here, 1/2 of 46 is 23. Minus 5 gives us 18. So these two are easy to check just in head. This one we did need a calculator to go ahead and check. So this is the conclusion of this lesson. I hope that you watch it, you rewind it and watch as you need so that you can do the assignment in class tomorrow. Thank you.